Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on an A1466 MacBook Air that is not powering on. We're going to open this thing up, try to see if we can figure out what's wrong with it and make it work again. Make it into a little nice, happy little MacBook. See how many happy little MacBooks we have to make work again to pay off a back rent debt of $92,000. Okay. So, say around 5 times 92. Yeah. That's going to be something. Okay. All right. So, let's figure out what's wrong with this MacBook. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my power supply. My power supply is going to be what I plug my charger into. Now, when I know how much amperage the board is using by itself, without the battery plugged in, I will have a better read on what this board is doing. It also helps if you turn the power supply on. The fan spins. The fuck? What the fucking troll? What? This already works. The fuck? Can't fix things that already work. You mother... 4, 3, 0. Okay, next. Next. Be right back. I bet that one has corrosion on its trackpad cable. The note said it could tell the power button was being pressed but wouldn't turn on, which typically means the trackpad is resetting the SMC when you hit the power button rather than shorting SMC on off L to ground. It's shorting SMC reset L to ground as a result of corrosion on the trackpad or the trackpad connector, also known as the IPD flex cable. Let's take a quick look at that before we move on to the next machine. Just a hair. It's just a hair. Ooh, corrosion on pin 2 over here. You see that pin? Looks different than the other pins. Second pin on the right there. Or am I just seeing things? Yeah, it does look different. I would say trackpad. Let's see, what does the trackpad flex look like under there? Get that thing twisted around. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Burn mark. Burn mark. See that? That's a burn mark on that little trackpad flex cable. So on this machine, when you're hitting the power button, what happens is the keyboard then communicates with the trackpad. And then the trackpad then routes that to the computer. So you have over here, on an A1466 MacBook Air, the keyboard plugs into the trackpad plugs into the machine. So most likely what happened on this machine is because there is absolutely no liquid resistance whatsoever, there's large gaps in here, almost damn near the size of a Tesla Model 3, between the trackpad and the chassis. Liquid can come through here really easy. And if you open up a schematic and a board view for the 820-00165, which is what this is, let's just take a look at that cable and that pin. So we had corrosion around pins 2 and 3 on one of the sides. So on this side, pins 2 and 3 are trackpad SPI MISO, which is just going to be a data line for things, you know, like what key are you pressing on the keyboard, what direction are you moving the mouse. That's just not going to matter. What really matters is on the other side. So you have SMC on off L, that's the power button. You have PP3V42, that's the power rail that powers it, and SMC reset L, SMC LSOC reset L. Now, the system management controller, the SMC, is going to be the chip that is responsible for things like charging the battery, turning the computer on and off, detecting when you hit the power button, detecting when the battery's low, detecting sensors and seeing their temperature, and it's also responsible for charging. Now, the SMC sometimes needs to be reset. Further, the SMC is going to be in a reset state when you first plug the charger in, because the SMC is powered by PP3V42_G3 hot. PP3V42_G3 hot is the first rail that turns on and power everything in the machine, and that is also going to be responsible for your one-wire circuit, which tells you the charger green light to turn on. It's going to be responsible for the system management controller turning on. Now, the system management controller needs PP3V42 to be 3.42 volts in order to turn on. If the SMC tries to turn on before the 3.42 volt rail is stabilized, let's say it tries to turn on while PP3V42 is 5 volts or 1 volt or 2 volts, it will have a kind of like a brownout effect, which is it won't boot properly and it'll crash. It needs to only turn on when PP3V42, its incoming power rail, is exactly 3.42 volts. And there's a chipset in the machine that ensures that happens. It makes SMC reset L stay high until about a real small amount of time has passed, and then once PP3V42_G3 hot is stable, then it releases SMC reset L and allows the SMC to work, aka not be reset. The underscore L in SMC reset L means the signal is present when it's low, meaning the SMC is going to be reset when that signal is low. So it immediately brings that signal back high once PP3V42_G3 hot is stabilized. Now, one of the things that I imagine may happen, and may not since I scraped at this a little bit, is that if I were to plug the trackpad in and I would hit the power button, that you may get some sort of funky behavior here, where when you hit the power button, it doesn't turn on the machine, but the light on the charger changes colors. And this is a common thing to happen on the A1466 MacBook Air, where the charger light will be orange, like it is right now. The charger light is orange, and when you hit the power button, it turns green. Now, it just so happens on this machine that that corrosion was really, really small and barely noticeable, so I'm not able to reproduce that. But the reason that that'll happen is because if you take a look at the schematic in the board view over here, you'll notice that the SMC on-off, aka this is the thing where you're telling the computer to turn on or off, it detects you hitting the power button when it's low. That's what happens when you hit the power button, by the way. When you hit the power button on this particular model computer over here, when you hit power, what you're actually doing is you're shorting this signal to ground. You're shorting SMC on-off L to ground, and when this is shorted to ground, it sends a message to the SMC to tell that you hit the power button and turn the machine on or off. It thinks that what you're doing when you're hitting this button is actually hitting this button and resetting the SMC, which is why you will see the machine's light turn from green to orange. Now, you didn't see that behavior here, but that was the behavior that the customer was most likely experiencing, and that is why this machine was not working when they brought it in, but it is working on my desk. That little bit of corrosion was probably just in the right spot, and when I took the computer out of the slot, it moved in some way, shape, or form, but it most certainly will return. And the way that you fix this is by examining this little trackpad keyboard flex over here for any site of corrosion. And as I said, it's always going to be on one of those pins right over there around 18, 19, and 20. You examine it, and again, as you can see, the issue is right over there around pins 3 and 4. Look at that. See that? Corrosion is right there, exactly where I expected it to be. What you do is you replace this cable with another one. I believe you may be able to buy them on store.rossmangroup.com from time to time. And if you're feeling particularly nice to that customer, if you really, really just, actually want to make sure that it doesn't come back in a month or two, unlike L2, what you'll do is you'll replace the trackpad as well for the customer, because the trackpad, again, you could touch that up, you really could, but you never know if any of the circuitry on the trackpad is messed up, and you just don't want the people to come back to the store again over a part that's this fucking cheap, so you might as well just replace it for them. Unfortunately, that makes a kind of boring video. It's not exactly an exciting stream. There's no soldering involved here. There's no anything else, but you get an idea as to how you can read the problem description. Once you have enough experience working on the device over and over again, you can psychically detect what is wrong with the device. And it gets to be a lot of fun. It gets to be really rewarding to be able to solve these problems for your customers. And it gets to be really rewarding when you actually kind of guess what's wrong with it, and you're just correct before you even open the machine. That being said, we are going to move on to the next MacBook. We'll leave a note in this one to give the device an internal cleaning. We're going to leave a note to check for liquid damage because I imagine that some liquid was ingressed into that trackpad area where, again, there is a panel gap damn near the size of a Tesla Model 3's doors, and that we are going to move on to the next machine. So trackpad cable replacement, internal cleaning, new machine. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. And if you're a little bit curious about the SMC Reset L signal or the brownout detection or any of that, just search this channel for SMC Reset L, SMC_Reset_L. It's explained fully on this channel in another video. Bye now. No flooding for me. I drop. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on an A1708 MacBook Pro that appears to not be turning on. It's having an issue with charging. I'm going to open the bottom up out of this machine. We can take a look on the inside, see if we can figure out what's wrong with it, and make it work again. On average, how long does it take you to spot and solve an issue in a new machine? How long is a piece of string? On average, how long is a piece of string? By the way, everybody, something that I got to show you all on screen here. Something that I'm actually pretty excited about. Check this out. We've got the amazing Jesse Cruz, who is contributing to the Repair Wiki in a really cool way. Look at this page. This is for the iPhone 7. There's much more to come. Look at this troubleshooting section. Look at this. Look at this. Is this not amazing? Look at the audio I see. Well, look, he's got pictures of the jumpers and how you run them and all this different stuff. The pads, like the symptoms and the problems. This is amazing. So I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Jesse Cruz. This is really cool. We're finally getting people who are willing to contribute content here to the wiki and get it done. And I am happy to see him doing it. You can check out his company at vccboardrepairs.com. That's vccboardrepairs.com if you're interested in checking out someone who's pretty good at this type of work. And Repair Preservation Group is happy, humbled, and honored to have him on board contributing shit like this, because this is really nice. You can, and this is a common question, can I post other type of stuff here? Yes, you can. Don't ask me to post it, just post it. Don't ask, just make a page. Don't ask, just make a page. If you're good at what you do, if you are good at repairing whatever it is you work on, don't ask me to add it, just add it. You could look at this. We got medical equipment, drones, 3D printers, cameras, laptops, desktops. So like, don't ask. Don't ask. Just do it. Just do it. Look at this. Just do it. Do it. This is my MacBook page over here, and we continue to add to it with each passing MacBook that we work on. Do it. All right. Let's open this machine. Rich Rebuilds might do a Tesla page. That would be cool. Ew. Gross. All right, let's take a look inside this. Ew. 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 The fan is brown. Come on. It's fucking disgusting. God damn. Okay, be right back. I gotta open the door of the store. I'm gonna blow this out outside. This is fucking gross. Oh, man. Nasty, 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 nasty MacBook owner. Hopefully the air compressor has some air in it. It barely has any air in it. You mofo. Oh, well, it's better than nothing. I am not blowing this out inside the store, because fuck that. Stop deluge. Okay. Open the door. All right. Anybody want something that's even spicier than COVID? Hope nobody walks by right now. Oh, you're going to get a nice whiff of something nice and spicy. All right, 3, 2, 1. I warned you, headphone users. That is just disgusting. I feel bad. Somebody walked by as I was doing that. You got a nice whiff. Oh, well. This dirt came from outside the store, back outside the store it goes. This is the way I see it. I'm just sending it. Oh my God, the fan actually still looks disgusting. Kind of wonder if I could ultrasonic the fan. That's crazy after all that work with the air compressor. Hello, Mario. How are you? All right, we're back in the office. Look at this. It made my mat dirty, too. My mat even got dirty. Look at the fan. It's still gross. Okay. Let's take the board out of the case. John, yeah, it sucks that they didn't have more Clinton in the video, and Clinton didn't get credited in the video. It also seems like the wrong screws are in the wrong holes. Yeah, I'm not the first one to get in here, am I? Wrong screw, wrong hole. That's not even a long screw, that's a wrong screw. Look at that, that infinitely turns. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Wait, none of these screws come out. Bro, are you serious? I think that they actually broke the grommets that the screws go into. So they may actually be stuck on the board. I think somebody tried to pull this board out before. Yeah, look, none of these screws come out. Look at this. I'm turning it. You're turning it. And now sometimes what you can do to fix this is you hold the grommet down. You want to touch the ground stuff around the board, not the actual parts of the board with traces going through themselves. Just to put pressure on the grommet and push it down onto the board so that you can keep it in place and unscrew. But that's not working here. Yeah, there's very few screws in this machine that actually come out. They're not stripped. They do turn. The screw does turn. Bro. So how are you all doing out there? I did a video about potentially hiring somebody for the free repair workshops that I'm doing. The repair workshop is free to the end user, but I'd be paying the person who runs it. And that video has resulted in me getting 0 applications. That video also got around 7,000 views. It's one of those things where supposedly you have a channel with 1.6 million subscribers, and then you get 0.4% of your audience that watches something. It's one of those, it's somewhat frustrating that when I do a video where I actually am looking for a real response from people, it just gets suppressed to shit. That kind of made me sad. I would like to find someone to do those workshops, but... Okay, yeah, here we go. They broke the fucking grommets. See? The screws are all on the... Look at this. So this screw... We'll zoom here. See this? The screw? This screw? Look. The grommet. They broke the grommet off of the machine. That grommet's broken off the machine, and that grommet is broken off the machine. Look at that. That's an issue that... See? Disgusting. Either way, that's an issue we can deal with later. Let's see if we can actually fix the board first. I'm not going to mess around with the grommets until I see if this actually has the capability to work again. Yes, I am an evil capitalist. I'm not fixing his grommets unless I can see that I can make money fixing the machine. No fix, no fee. No fix, no fee. Okay. So let's see what is going on with this machine. Now the customer claims it doesn't charge. Now I'm not even going to plug a charger into this. Let's see if you guys have an idea as to what... Why do you think this machine's not charging? Look at that charge port. Look at the filth on that charge port. This has to be a meme. What the hell? Is that... Okay, we're going to turn this around a little bit. One thing to know anytime you're doing this type of work is you want to make it so that you're comfortable. Nobody cares if the board is comfortable. What matters is that you're comfortable. So I'm going to take a knife here. Unfortunately, the knife is not going to be comfortable because the knife's going to be touching this board. Do this. Now you see over here you got liquid. Similar to the last video I did where you had the trackpad, where you had the 2 pins from the trackpad connector that were touching each other due to corrosion. You may have the same thing going on over here. So I don't want to use alcohol and a Q-tip until I've actually gotten rid of the stuff that's on top. You're going to have to scrape. But then once the scraping is done, then I'll do this. And one thing it's important to tell is that I'm not going back and forth with the Q-tip. I'm rolling it around so that any of the dust of the hairs and the fibers wind up back on the Q-tip rather than on the cable, the connector, the chip, the port, or whatever it is that I'm Q-tipping. Yes, I do use Q-tips. I don't spend a crazy amount of money on, like medical Q-tips or anything like that. This is just your boring-ass Q-tips that you can get at Walgreens or CVS or something. Now we're going to do the other side of it. Again, a little bit of scraping in case any of that stuff is caked on there. And then once you've done yours, like filing your nails. Joanna Stern would disagree. Just like filing your nails. This board will obviously go through an ultrasonic cleaner as well, and that'll do a much better job of getting rid of the little bits and pieces of this because it heats the liquid to 65, 70 Celsius, and the Branson EC with cavitating action does a really good job of getting off the last bits of everything that were left on. Okay, then the next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at the charging circuitry area. And there's a little piece of poop. Look at that. A little piece of green poop over there. Now, does anybody know how this machine charges? Who in the chat knows how this machine charges? Can you walk me through it? Walk me through how this machine charges. By the way, if you are kind of curious and you're not really sure, you don't have a lot of answers to things like this, you can actually go to the repair wiki where I've put all this stuff, and you can find this board, which is an 820.00840 right here. And then you find that, and it will give you a list of different things. This is available for free. And what makes us able to offer this to you for free are people that are willing to contribute to it, like Jesse Cruz or like myself, and I wrote all this stuff. So if you finally wind up learning how to do difficult repairs on in-demand devices, pay it forward. Contribute to the wiki so that other people can learn. So let's go over this a little bit. So we're going to open up a schematic for an 820-00840 board. And we're going to go through it together. Now, this charges using a USB-C charger. USB-C chargers are different than many other forms of charger because this can put out multiple different voltages. So your standard laptop charger, this may always just put out 20 volts or 18 volts. Boring. USB, you know, from your computer, that's always putting out 5 volts. They're boring. USB-C, 5 volts, 9 volts, 20 volts. You can use this to charge a GoPro. You can use this to charge a GoPro at 5 volts, a phone at 9 volts, or a laptop at 20 volts. So it's going to have a conversation with the computer before it turns on to figure out what it is. You know, what are you? So that it knows what is appropriate to do. And it's going to do that on a particular data line. So let's find that. Now, if you take a look at the schematic in the board view, this over here is going to be our charge port. J7330. You know, if we just take a look at the board itself on the desk, this is where you plug the charger in over here. See that? That is this over here. So we just take a look at that charge port. Now, there's going to be a data line on this charge port. You got a lot of different things in this charge port. So you have 20 volts over here, but you're also going to have a data line, CC1 con. CC1 con. That is going to go here, where it then goes to this chip, U3100. So what is U3100? U3100 is a Texas Instruments CD3215. And this is a USB-C port controller. We're going to just put this on the screen, full screen. This is a USB-C port controller. This is going to control this transistor opening or closing, which is going to allow the 20 volts from the charger to go through and become a main power rail in the computer over here. But further, this is going to speak to the charger and say, I'm a MacBook. I don't want 5 volts. I want 20 volts. What are you doing only giving me 5 volts? I need 20. I'm a MacBook. Now, on most of these schematics, particularly for Apple, you'll notice that the voltage rails that power a chip typically tend to show up on the top. So over here, on the left and the right, you have a bunch of different signals. But on the top, you're going to have a bunch of different voltages. And here you have VIN. VIN or VDDIO or VCC, anything like that is typically voltage that's coming into the chip to turn it on. VIN 3V3. That is going to be the voltage that we need for this to turn on. So VIN 3V3 is very similar to, let's just take something off my desk, for instance, my microscope. So my microscope over here, this is my microscope. This is my microscope camera that allows you to see everything. This, it would be the VIN port. See this? I have here where I could plug in a power supply. So that would be the VIN port of my microscope. And when I plug my charger, I'm a fucking idiot. When I plug my power supply in there, I get a green light to turn on it. That tells me that it's on. Now, the same thing is true here. In order for this USB-C port controller to do its job, PP3V3_G3 hot needs to be present. This power rail always has to be present. So this is the first thing that you need before you can expect to get 20 volts in the charger. And the way that we can tell if the charger is working is with this USB-C amp meter over here. This USB-C amp meter is going to tell us when we plug it in whether we are getting 5 volts or 20 volts. And this over here says 5 volts, taking 26 milliamps, but it is not going up to 20 volts, so it's not able to communicate properly. So one of the things that I would do in this instance, if I didn't have eyes, if I were blind and I hadn't already seen that there was very, very obvious evidence of liquid damage over here, is I would check to see if pp3v3_g3 hot is present. Also, if you're someone who has difficulty with spotting liquid damage, do refer to a page on the Repair Wiki, Visual Inspection for Logic Board Repairs. This is a detailed guide on how to tell when there is corrosion, how to tell when there's liquid damage on a board, even if it's been cleaned already. So for instance, you can see over here, I go into detail with a MacBook DCN board and I show you how to tell. This is a good point over here. That is a good point. That is bad. This looks terrible, but actually conducts. This doesn't look as bad, but it actually is worse because it has less conductive material. This works, but will be bad later. This entire page goes over how to tell whether or not the liquid damage you're looking at is liquid damage that's bad or liquid damage or it's just something that doesn't matter at all. This is always going to be something that you need to be able to do. So I would highly suggest taking a look at this page, and if you have examples that you can add to it, again, by all means, if this, if these guides, if these videos help you, please, please, please do pay it forward by putting content onto this wiki. Everything that you can see on this page is stuff that I have contributed myself, as you can tell, because it's all in Microsoft Paint, which looks like shit, which is really only something a dumbass like me would do to begin with. But if any of this stuff helps you to learn, pay it forward by contributing to this so that other people can learn easier in the future from information that you make available. That's what Repair Preservation Group is about. Now, if I didn't see that liquid there, what I would do is I would go to my schematic and my board view, and I would try to find pp3v3_g3 hot to see if that was present and being created, because that is a precursor to our USB-C port controller working, which is a precursor to getting 20 volts in the charger, which is a precursor to the machine turning on. So I'm going to plug in this charger over here for a moment. I am going to look on the schematic in the board view and see where pp3v3_g3 hot here is. Okay, it's over here. pp3v3_g3 hot. It's this little resistor over here. Is a resistor sitting between the main power rail pp3v3_g3 hot and the chip itself. This is a 0 ohm resistor, so it's kind of just acting like a fuse. So we're going to see if we have pp3v3_g3 hot, and a good place to measure it is right over here on this resistor, or we could also measure it right over here above the chip itself. So let's just take a look above the chip itself, right over there. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to turn the multimeter on the screen. And we are going to measure, and we're going to see what we get at this point. I can measure at, this is pp3v3_g3 hot, and this is after it passes through the resistor, so I can measure on that big cap over there. I'm going to turn on my multimeter software, which is programmed and engineered by the amazing Paul Daniels, who comes from the tyrannical world of Australia. And see what we have. So I am going to get this on the screen. And let's see, do you think we have pp3v3_g3 hot? Let's see. I'm going to measure and check. Okay, 3.41 volts is present. So we have 3.41 volts. So if we have 3.41 volts, that's close enough to 3.3 volts. That chip is getting the power that it needs to turn on. That is not our problem. At that point, then I would ask, is the chip good? And again, as you can see over here, if you had eyes, you can see that that is not good. Now, sometimes you can reuse the chip that's there. Simply get rid of some of the corrosion, and it will work again. The fact that there is green outside of here may not even be our problem. The problem may be that there is corrosion under the chip. So if there's corrosion that I can see right next to it, this may have corrosion under it that is shorting one thing to another. So one thing to understand is that this chip over here is called a ball grid array. So think of it like, instead of a chip where you have a bunch of legs that you can see, like a spider where you can see the electrical contacts, this chip has it's kind of like a bunch of marbles underneath it. So the chip is sitting on top of a bunch of marbles that then conduct electricity to the board. What this does is, instead of only having legs around the perimeter, it has a bunch of legs under it. So you can have a lot more connections on a chip. That means you can have a more miniaturized board design, which is great. The downside is that it makes it a little bit more difficult to tell if there's any sort of corrosion under there. So we are going to, first thing is try to understand, this is a really important thing to understand when you're learning from scratch. So what we have is we're stuck at 5 volts, we're not going to 20, and it's stuck at 20 milliamps. And this is the resistor that's corroded, right? So what I'm curious is to look at what these two resistors here are actually for, because I want to create an association between the symptoms that the machine has and those resistors being green. Because here's the thing. You're not always going to have a machine that's dead because of liquid damage. Sometimes you may have a machine that's dead for a different reason. Now, every single time, God gives you the gift of a liquid damage board that's not yours. You want to learn from it. So what you do is, let's just plug the charger in. And now I'm going to try and associate what the symptom is that I have, what the board is doing with those resistors. So 5 volts, 26 milliamps over here. 5 volts, 26 milliamps over here. We're just going to plug this in. Plug it in. And, okay, now let's see what those resistors do that are corroded. Because now I'm going to learn what this data line is for. See? This is an important one. So this is a 15 ohm resistor that sits between the USB-C port controller, our CD3215, and this Thunderbolt chip right over here. This is a resistor that goes to another resistor that goes to this Thunderbolt chip. So now what I've learned, if I reflow this, if I replace those resistors and this works, now what I've learned is that in order for me to get 20 volts in the charger, I not only need these two chips to work, but they also need to have a pathway by which they can speak with this Thunderbolt controller IC. This chip over here, U2800, even though it doesn't look like it has something to do with charging, may actually have something to do with charging. And this is something that I learned because it's liquid damage. So where this helps me is that when I get to the next one machines like this, where there's no liquid damage and it's not charging, I now have in my knowledge base that U2800 is essential for charging. So I don't always learn how everything works by just reading a manual that someone leaked from Apple that says, here's all the things that need to work, here's how you troubleshoot the machine. I don't have access to any of that. And the schematic, while telling me what's on the board, is not a troubleshooting guide, it just tells me what's there and where it goes to. The rest of it I need to make with my own brain. And the way that you create these types of very detailed troubleshooting guides is by, when you have a problem, when you see that there's corrosion on this little part of the board, I don't want you to just fix the corrosion. I don't want you to just Q-tip it. I don't just want you to replace it with stuff on donor boards. I want you to record in your mind, in an Excel sheet, and particularly on my wiki, here's the symptom that we had, here's the section of the board that was corroded, and when I fixed that corrosion on this section of the board, this changed. So this section that was corroded is responsible for this. Make those associations in your head. They're very important. So I'm going to clean that stuff off over there. But after I clean that stuff off, I'm now going to make an association in my head that that chip, that Thunderbolt chip over here, this USB-C chip, this U2800, is something that's necessary for charging. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this a reflow. And we are going to put a little bit of flux on the board. So just a small amount of flux, and then we're going to get started with a reflow. All right. Doesn't corrosion under one chip make you suspect the other chips too? Well, it depends on how widespread everything is. That is a very, very, very small area over there. That's a really tiny, isolated piece of corrosion. Now, it does make me question the chip next to it, for sure. And we may just give a reflow to both. Luckily, we have a flux budget that allows us to reflow both of them. Yeah, so luckily the flux budget here is actually very liberal. We're like Congress when it comes to flux. Spend, 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 baby. Inflation is transient, bitch. Fuck your puts. Inflation is transitory. Fuck your puts. Something like that. But with flux. Now I go over to the one next to it, just for the hell of it. Give it a little tap. Now, I'm going to have to deal with those resistors over there. I don't like those resistors. That looks like shit. Yeah, as you can see, I took the soldering iron away from the board. And even though I took the iron away from the board, I was able to just easily remove that resistor with my tweezers. So that was not conducting anything. So this means that the data line between U2800, or yeah, U2800 and the CD3215 was not working at all, because this resistor was not even physically attached to the motherboard. And I also am probably going to take the resistor under it off with me. As well as you could see, I was barely touching the resistor under it, and that went away. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to see if I can save that pad, because I really don't have to I really want to avoid running a wire underneath the chip. So I'm going to try and save the pad. I'm going to see if I can save that pad. There's a gentle scraping. Okay. Now, one of the pads in the right, that was the one I actually thought was in better condition, appears to not be there right now on the top resistor. So this is going to be fun. Let's just do a little bit of scraping over here. Okay. But as you can see, when I get rid of the flux, even though my pad is missing, I may be missing the pad. I have this pathway over here that was leading to the pad. So what I can do is I can scrape this and then run a jumper wire and then create a pad. So that's what we're going to do. How much is your flux budget? Approximately $12,500 a month. Now you figured out why I'm behind on my shop rent by $92,000. It's because of the flux budget. Stick-on pads are an absolute waste. For at least what we're doing here, it's useless. It's not practical. No point. In 7 years, we've had repairs come back for different reasons. So for instance, like let's say we do this, but the CPU dies or something else. We've had that type of thing, but we've never in 7 years had we soldered a jumper and the jumper, came off or something. That's not going to happen. If you drop the machine in a manner that makes a competently soldered jumper come off, your machine is probably going to look like an accordion. So at that point, it really doesn't matter anymore. That's not a thing. I know that Apple's response to the Wall Street Journal piece is that they found out that single component replacements were not reliable. That's why they don't do them. If that's the case, then I'm really curious why it is when they replace boards for customers, they give them refurbished ones that they've refurbished themselves rather than new ones. But I definitely ignore all of your chat, Nomad King, and I will continue to from now until the end of time. It is big, rude dude. Florida's still on my list. I got to visit a lot of areas of the country, but first I got to do this damn Massachusetts trip. I got to get this Massachusetts trip out of the way, and then I can go up on and visit other parts of the country. It's also going to be important to have an idea of what types of places exist in case my landlord wants to play hardball and say, no, sorry, full rent, going forward, full back rent. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. We'll see. There's only one way to find out, right? One way to find out. Okay, I gotta put my little jumper over here after I solder this resistor on. Alright, now we have to solder a jumper wire. So I have my little jumper wire over here. You're right, Inexio. They don't change components sometimes. Sometimes they just use a sticky rubber pad. Don't remind me. These are the people that we have to defend ourselves to when it comes to our ability to do our job. Hey, Lewis. I have a laptop repair shop because of you. That's awesome, GD Tech. I'm glad to hear it. I hope it's very successful. I wish you most of success. Hopefully less failure than I've experienced over the years on your way to it. That little jumper is going to get into place if it kills me. Don't you think you're getting away from me, you little jumper wire. Alright, this is the fun part. And this is why I retired. Okay, scrape. Fuck. Okay. Make that top piece melt in again. Ah, shit. Okay, take two. Take two. Right. Let's get that bottom of that resistor onto my soldering iron. Get that out of there. I can see the bottom of that resistor in there. Hey. I wouldn't have the patience to do this type of work. This is why I'm looking up to people who can. They're just built different. I don't think I'm built different. I just think I'm willing to humiliate myself more. Thank you, Nomad. I appreciate that. Get a resistor from the donor. Okay. Get this in a focus. Lay the resistor down. And get our jumper wire, which used to be easier to do. Okay. Now, we are going to do here is we are going to prepare our jumper, scraping away the enamel on the jumper. We are going to scrape away the enamel on the jumper. Get rid of this thing over here. Now that jumper goes to this probe point. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to anchor it to this probe point over here for a moment, just to make it easier to run. And add some flux. Now I want that jumper to make as much contact with the resistor as possible. So I don't want the jumper to run up here and just touch with its tip. I actually want it to touch it at an angle like this, at a right angle. Because if it touches at a right angle, then it's making more contact with the resistor, and it is less likely for have anything bad happen to it later. Okay, that's good. Lewis, you are my favorite philosophy New York City real estate component level repair video creator. Can I offer your car an extended warranty? No, but you could offer me cheaper insurance. As you can see, my wire is a little longer than it should be. I'm going to solder it back around there, in which I did. Now last up, on this probe point over here, I don't want to have a gravelly probe point. So I added a little flux. Bada bing. Now the thing is, thanks for helping us to fix our junk. Thank you. Now here's an important thing. There's something called surface tension. So I have gotten considerably worse with the handling of my hand and being able to solder things and make micro movements and micro accurate movements, particularly a lot in the past year. It's been going on for a while now, but a lot in the past year. So I'm not able to get that exactly where it needs to be. However, through the magic of surface tension, I don't have to. Once I've gotten it close enough, I can just reflow with my hot air station And that wire, that jumper wire and that resistor are going to find exactly where they want to go, and they're going to sit in place exactly where they want to be. So rather than it being stressed or in a position it doesn't want to be, I'm going to heat everything up here to put it in the position that it does want to be in. Wait for it to dry. Now this jumper, again, it's not just making contact at one point. It's actually making contact at a right angle, so it's making contact with the entirety of the resistor, which is what I want it to do, which is going to be a slight, I would say, a superior connection to if I just ran the tip of the wire up to the tip of the resistor. That's why I ran it in that particular fashion. And because I have OCD and can't leave well enough alone, I'm going to give it one final tap before I plug this in and see if I made any progress. And indeed, I lifted it off the board. Now, when you're done, just allow it to be done. Okay, I'll hot air that back into place. A moment here. Just tap that down onto the board. I want it to be flat on the board. It's important to me that that point be flat on the board and not be sticking up. And now that's done. Okay, now I'm going to allow this to cool using rapid cool technology. Beam extractor. Bada bing. Rapid cool technology is in session. Yeah, holding this wire used to be a lot easier for me than it is right now. Sucks. Yeah, I could see it moving even when... My hand is moving even when I'm all the way zoomed out. Oh, well. Fuck it. Okay, so... Next, let's see if we've made any progress. So the board is now colder. I'm going to plug it in and see if we get 20 volts. You think we got 20 volts? One way to find out, right? Plug it in. 5 volts. 0 amps. Okay, that's different than before. And over here, we get 5 volts, 600 milliamps. 600 milliamps is a bad. That's too much. And over here, you get 5 volts, 20 milliamps. Interesting. So before we had 5 volts, 15 to 20 milliamps. Now we have 5 volts and 600 milliamps. Now let's see which CD3215 goes to which charge port. So I'm plugged in to the bottom charge port right now. We're going to take a look at this section. Now, obviously, one of these CD3215s is going to be boiling, and I'm kind of curious which one is the one that's going to be boiling, because it's taking 600 milliamps. I mean, 600 milliamps is hot. So one of these is probably going to be noticeably boiling. And as you can see, the one that has the alcohol evaporating from it seemingly faster, let's see if I can, is the one on the right. Yeah, that one on the right is burning, which also makes sense because that is the one that's hot. That's the one that had the corrosion on it, I should say. So what I'm going to do is I am going to remove that chip, and we are going to replace it with another one that you can get on store.rossmangroup.com. All right, so sometimes you can reflow a chip, sometimes you can't. Now, the corrosion next to it was very clump-like in nature, so you're probably going to see that when we remove the chip. You're probably going to notice what looks very clumpy under it on the right side where the corrosion was. You're going to see the pads. You're going to probably see what looks like some nasty dirt under there.
I just pulled the Paul Daniels there. Did you see that?
Oh, sweet mercy.
That was a total Paul Daniels. Remember when he did that with the SMC? Never forget. I'm never going to forget that.
Sweet mercy.
I love Paul. I hope they let him out of Australia someday. Now I'm going to put some lead solder over here to suck up all the lead-free solder balls. It'll make it easier for me to wick. The board is moving around the desk, which is very strange. It's not sitting flat on the table. Okay, so before I put the CD3215 on, I would like to straighten out this resistor. Now that I don't have a chip in the way of it. I know this doesn't matter because I soldered it to the probe point, but it's highly triggering to me that is sitting like that. Better. The quality of the solder on this the pad of this resistor is shit. You can make that better. Much better. If we can have a moderator ban Die Carly from the chat. I'd highly appreciate it if there is a moderator in the chat to ban Die Carly. Thank you to Mr. Hi Hi. Lame jokes from people that are not funny. Okay. Now we're going to get a CD3215 to put over there. By the way, everybody, Hi Hi is going to be graduating a teacher this Monday. Everybody give Hi Hi a round of applause for being brave enough to teach the board repair class. I am very proud of Hi Hi. Hi Hi is going to be here bright and early on Monday with the curriculum that he's established. Isn't that so, Hi Hi? Isn't that so? Hi Hi has left the chat. Hi Hi has left the chat. Okay, we've got a replacement CD3215 chip. We're going to put this chip on the board. Put a little bit of flux. Get the balls of the chip all up in that flux. Now, when putting a BGA chip on the board, one thing that you want to do is to make sure that you have it in the right place is you're going to tap in the center and you're going to scratch it. And when you scratch it, once it's only moving the diameter of a pad in distance, you're good. But you have to wait until it's not moving more than the diameter of a pad to know that you're good. And now we're going to solder it on. So my hot air is going to be further away from the board when starting. Start preheating the board, preheating the chip, preheating the flux. Okay, it tried to flow away there. Nice try, mofo. We went in for the kill too quickly. Keep heating it from further away. It's like being a snake charmer. Charm that snake. Yes. Yes. Now dance. Beautiful. Rapid cool. 5 volts, 20 milliamps. Oh, 20 volts, baby! Woohoo! 20 volts, 500 milliamps. And on the other port, you get 20 volts, 500 milliamps. It's turning on. That's what we do, baby. We make MacBooks work again. That's it for today. And as always, I hope that you learned something. So what was wrong with this board? This board had corrosion on the CD3215, particularly around 2 resistors that allow it to communicate with the USB-C and Thunderbolt controller at U2800. We replaced the resistors. There was a bad trace under. It was not a bad trace. There was a bad trace between a resistor and a probe point for it to go to the other side of the board. So we had to run a jumper wire, which I suck at now, but I did anyway. And we also replaced the CD3215 because once we had run that, once it was able to speak with the other chip and actually turn on, it was taking 600 milliamps, but stuck at 5 volts. The chip was also getting fairly hot. We replaced it with another one available from store.rossgroup.com, and now it works. Now, why is right to repair important? Because I was able to fix this board, right? If you had a 2019 or 2020 model that uses a CD3217, I can't, because that chip is not available. And I'm not able to call up Texas Instruments or Mouser or DigiKey or Newark or anybody else and buy that thing. Eventually, I'll be able to once it gets leaked from somewhere, some source in some far-off land. But for now, I have to, turn down this repair, which would otherwise be a fairly basic and easy or simple repair that would last for a very long time, work very lovely, because of chip unavailability. If you want to learn how to do a lot of this stuff, we do have a link down below to a very, very long guide that explains how all of this stuff works. Let's just see if I can bring that up on the screen over here for you all to see. If you're interested in board repairs and stuff like that, there's a nice guide that explains how to do everything that I do. Is a beginner's guide, and there's also in-person classes. So let's bring up all this stuff. So we got a beginner's guide, we have the repair wiki. So if you're interested in this stuff, first you have repair.wiki, which I'd highly encourage people to contribute to. If you have ideas on how to make this better or devices, don't ask. Don't ask, Lewis, can I add? Just add it if you know what you're doing. You have for this machine, you have a list of problems and solutions. You have the amazing Jesse Cruz at VCC Board Repair, who is kind enough to start contributing information on iPhones. And as you can see, the iPhone 7 guide on here is just out of this world amazing. Beautiful contributions to repair.wiki. We have this training guide, which will be linked down below. This training guide is a 150-page guide that goes over a lot of the basics, and it eventually goes over, a lot of basic electronics. Then it starts getting into MacBook circuits, basic mistakes that people make when they're trying to, figure out which capacitor is bad when there's a short circuit. But, it goes over what a lot of different components do, how transistors open, what a voltage divider is, pull-up resistors, diodes, data lines, let's see. What causes a power rail to not show up, what the different power states are, like S5, S4, G3 hot, all that other stuff. It goes over, like how to power an integrated circuit. It goes over what a buck converter is, what it looks like, and it tries to make all of this stuff really, really simple. I tried to make this guide as simple as humanly possible. It's got a lot of pictures, but above all, this guide is available for free for anybody who wants to take a look at it and learn. And we also do at rossmangroup.com. We have classes, so if you want to sign up for a class, we have paid in-person classes. But everything I go over in every single one of these classes is the exact same stuff I go over in these YouTube videos. It's the exact same stuff I go over on this sheet. It's the exact same stuff that I go over on the Repair Wiki, which is all freely available for someone who doesn't have the money to pay to learn, or who can't afford to stay up until 4 a.m. every single day trying to figure it all out for themselves, the way I did throughout most of my 20s. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you learned something. It's a pleasure doing a board repair video with you all. See you in the next one. Bye now. I gotta edit this and get myself something to eat. I'm kind of hungry. I gotta edit this and the other one and upload them both. Then I gotta get something to eat at whoever's still open at 10, probably 11 or 12 at night by then when I'm done. Don't know what I should get to eat.
Let's see. Mudadara platter. That sounds good. All right. Food delivered. Delivery on the way. You're still on air. No, you're with an apostrophe still on air, not Y-O-U-R. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're looking at it wrong. And 1978. Zoom. I want a series of videos of you traveling to look for the best burritos. That's going to be really depressing because all the best burrito places closed. I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think I'd be far too angry at all the places that were good that closed to be able to do that effectively. Okay, time to edit these two videos. Greetings from New Zealand. Hello. Hello, Mr. New Zealander. How are you, Mr. New Zealander?
Everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on an A1466 MacBook Air that is not powering on. We're going to open this thing up, try to see if we can figure out what's wrong with it, make it work again. Make it into a little, nice, happy little MacBook.
Thank you, Barry.
See how many happy little MacBooks we have to make work again to pay off a back rent debt of $92,000. Okay. 5 times 92. Okay. All right. So let's figure out what's wrong with this MacBook. Okay. So in front of my power supply. My power supply is going to be what I plug my charger into. It's things that already work. You mother. Typically means the trackpad is resetting the SMC when you hit the power button rather than shorting SMC on off elder ground. The shorting SMC reset elder ground as a result of corrosion in the trackpad connector. All known as the.
Okay, back.
How's it going? So today we're going to be working on an A1466 MacBook Air that is not powering on. Open this thing up, try to see if we figure out what's wrong with it, make it work again. Make it a little nice, happy little MacBook. See how many happy little MacBooks we have to make work again to pay off this back rent bill of $90,000. Okay. All right, so let's figure out what's wrong with this MacBook. Okay, so first I'm going to do is turn on my power supply. My power supply is going to be what I plug my charger into. Now, when I know how much amperage the board is using by itself, that battery plugged in, I have a better read on what this board is doing. It also helps if you turn the power supply on. Fan spins. What? Control? What?
Delete that.
Great, next.
Do we have a moderator? Do we have a moderator? Moderator. Moderator.
Next. You're back. The note said it tells power button to be pressed when you turn on, particularly if the trackpad is resetting the SMC. It was power button rather than shorting foot ground, but shorting SMC reset elbow ground as a result of corrosion in the trackpad connector. Also known as the IPD flex. Just the hair.
I don't have a YouTube streaming window open, and they made it really a pain in the ass to get to the live dashboard compared to the old YouTube interface. Let's see, how do I find this so I can mod somebody? Interesting, it says that my stream is over, but there's people still here. Well, that's interesting. It says that there's no stream. What? Let's see, where's Travis? Where is Travis? Lewis, I miss when you would fix boards. I fixed one right now. Rewind. You are still live. Why do you keep repeating the same thing? Stop doing that. That's so annoying. Stream. Yes. I think you're on the wrong channel. No, I'm not. I think I finally found it. This new YouTube interface is horrible. Here we go. Okay, Travis Stamper, add moderator. I have a friend who moved from Jersey to the Upper East Side. What does that say about my friend? He probably has a lot more money than we all do because he lives on the Upper East Side. Very gossip girl of him.
Burn mark. 165, which is what this is. Let's take a look at that cable. Okay, so we have corrosion mark, it's 2 and 3 on one side. So on this side, it's 2 and 3 of FedS feedback. These are, she's going to be a data line for things, like what key are you pressing on the keyboard, what direction are you moving the mouse, that's just not going to matter. What really matters is on the other side. So you have SMC on off L.
No, Adolf, no.
And SMC reset L, SMC L, SMC reset L. Now, the system manager control.
Is mic low? Maybe.
Responsible for things like charging the battery, turning the computer on and off, detecting your power, detecting the battery's low, detecting sensors and seeing the temperature, and it's also turn on that the SMC on extending the SMC, which is why you will see the machine light turn green orange. Now, you didn't see that behavior here. That's what's wrong with it, and you just correct before you get on the machine. That being said, we're going to move on to the next MacBook. We're going to note in this one to give the device an internal cleaning. We're going to leave another check for liquid because we're going to move on to the next machine. So trackpad cable replacement, internal cleaning, new machine. So that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. If you're really curious about SMC reset L signal or brown detection or any of that, just search this channel for SMC reset L, SMC _reset _L. It's explained fully on this channel and on the video. Bye. Hi, so today we're going to all three doors. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. If you're a little bit curious about the SMC Reset L signal or the brownout detection or any of that, just search this channel for SMC Reset L. SMC_Reset_L. It's explained fully on this channel in another video. Bye.
Okay, first video done. Second video next.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on an A1708 MacBook Pro that appears to not be turning on. It's having an issue with charging. I'm going to open the bottom of the battery machine. We're going to take a look on the inside, see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. Make it work again. How long does it take you to spot itself? How long is a piece of string? On average, how long is a piece of string?
You think right to repair should apply to FFA certified aircraft? I don't know much about FFA certified aircraft. Do they do the same things to limit repair there that they do here?
We've got the amazing
Can you tell me more about it?
Cruz, who is contributing to Repair Wiki in a really cool way. Look at this page. This is for the iPhone 7. There's much more to come. Look at the troubleshooting section. Look at this. Look at this. Is this not amazing? Look at iOS. Look at pictures of the jumpers and how you run them. All this different stuff. Paths, like the symptoms and the problems. This is amazing. I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Jesse Cruz. This is really cool. I'm finally getting people who are willing to contribute content here so we can get done. And I am happy to see you. Check out the company at vccboardrepairs.com. It's vccboardrepairs. Boardrepairs.com. That's vccboardrepairs.com if you're interested in checking out someone who's pretty good at this type of work. And Repair Preservation Group is happy, humbled, and honored to have him on board contributing shit like this because this is really nice. You can, and this is a common question, can I post other type of stuff here? Yes, you can. Don't ask me to post it. Don't ask. Just make a page. Don't ask. Just make a page. If you're good at what you do, if you're good at repair, whatever it is you work on, don't ask me to add it. Just ask.
Hello, Catherine.
Equipment, drones, 3D printers, cameras, laptops, desktops, so don't ask. Don't ask. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Do it. This is my MacBook page over here. So we can get. All right. Let's open this machine. Rich rebuild might do a Tesla page. That would be cool. Take a look inside this. Ew. Ew.
Shadow, sometimes. What really has me feeling bad on the right to repair stuff is that I wanted to visit about 63 different repair shops in Massachusetts and try to arrange a lobbying day. 21 of them got back to me and said yes. 2 got back to me and said no. 40 of them completely blew me off. It really, what gets me is when, I'm putting in the effort to work on and try and help an industry that doesn't even want to take 5 minutes out to help itself. Sometimes I feel like that, and sometimes that makes me feel burned out on it. I'm not burned out on right to repair so much as I'm burnt out on dealing with the bad choices that I make in life on a regular basis, which I'm dealing with at this point in time. That's what burns me out, is like looking back on what could have been. But that's not really right to repair related. FFA, my bad. Again, I don't really know much about aircrafts. I don't know what kind of, I don't know what the challenges are that get faced there. I'm usually for right to repair for anything. When it comes to something that weighs thousands of pounds that flies over my head, I think that, how to put this? When it comes to something that weighs thousands of pounds that flies over my head, I am kind of curious there. Because if you screw something like that up, then that would suck if airplanes are falling out of the sky. But then again, I mean, you need so much. Are United and Delta and all of these others allowing planes that are poorly maintained to fly with the amount of liability that they have? Hippio character with stars growing in his eyes, pumping his arms in the air with the word hype pulsating above him. Oh, I don't know what that means. I make wrong decisions all the time. I just use them as experience. The problem with me is that I often make the wrong decisions over and over and over again, and I never learn from them. That's what gets me. It's not making a mistake. It's making a mistake and knowing I made that mistake 3 or 4 or 6 times in the past, and that I seem to continue to make it.
Come on! Fucking disgusting! God damn. Okay, you're right. You open the door, door. My gloves outside. Nasty, 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 nasty.
Okay, let's...
Hopefully you ever press hammer it. Yep. Turn it. You mop. Dirty too. Hello, Mario. How are you? Alright, we're back in the office. Look at this. I made my mat dirty too.
Okay.
There. Not dirty. Look at that. It's so gross. John, yeah, sucked. They didn't have more fun in the video. Didn't get credit in the video.
Edit, edit, edit. Plane manufacturers don't restrict buying parts, so you have to buy a new airplane. Okay, that's good.
Look at that. It barely turns. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Wait, none of these screws come out. Show these screws. I think somebody tried to pull this board out before. Yeah, look, none of these screws. Yeah, pretty few screws in the thing. They're not strict. They can turn. The screw does turn. It's raw. So how are you all doing out there? I did a video about potentially hiring somebody for the free repair workshop. 4% rate, It's one of those frustrating. When I do a video, I actually move into
We'll see, CJ, we'll see. I want a Cessna 402, and I want to fly it and go. I want to fly it home every day. I want to make it electric, and I want to make it levitate. Effects library. Where's my text side effect? Bold. Where is... I tried to repair my A1398 board 8000426. Now I shouldn't be touching the insides of my MacBook since it is now toast. What'd you do to it? What happened? What did you do, Dig?
Disgusting. God damn. Crap. Look at this. It made my mat dirty too. My mat even got dirty. Look at the fat. It's so gross. Okay. Okay. I'm not the first one to get near my. Bro. So how are you all doing out there? I did a video about let's see if we can actually record. See? It doesn't call. Through. We'll zoom here. See this? The screw? This screw? Yes, I'm an evil capitalist. I'm not fixing his grommets unless I can see that I can make money fixing. No fix, no fee. And, okay. So, let's see what... Now, customer claims doesn't charge. I'll let you know what charges. I'll see if you guys have an idea. Why do you think this machine not charging?
Do you still have a picture? A viewer made for you. Somewhere. I don't know which picture and what viewer, but probably. Where's my food? It started off as a battery replacement. So what happened? Did you poke the battery and make it go on fire? You poked the battery, didn't you? David, no. They've been total scumbags with that. I'm trying to see. I'm still working with them on it. I did file the paperwork to send them a small claims court. I have since the pandemic, which is why my hair looks like shit, JT. Eric, maybe not, because I haven't been able to hire anybody. So YouTube does this thing. Anytime I do a video that's actually important or something that matters, where it gets massively suppressed and it doesn't go out to any of the people that actually subscribe to me. So I need to hire someone to do those workshops. And I'm going to pay them money to do those workshops. And I did a video trying to hire someone to do that. 9,200 views in a channel that supposedly has 1.6 million subscribers. And as you can imagine, I had virtually nobody email me. So yeah, I have to figure out a way to sneak that into a video about something else that the algorithm actually wants people to see. I need to find someone who is. I need to find someone to do the teaching of those workshops. That's not me, because I have to have them at another location. I can't use the 501c3 money to pay my store rent, to pay me as an instructor and all that, because that creates massive conflicts of interest. So I'm going to wind up creating a grant program. I'm going to grant the money to a makerspace, and the makerspace is then going to get set up with a setup similar to what I have here, and then they're going to also use the grant to hire somebody. So I need to find someone to hire. But yeah, I got massively algorithmically fucked there in the hiring process. So I got to find a more creative way to try and find someone technically savvy to hire. I broke the keyboard backlight and lost video or back. Oh, man. No, you didn't lose video. What you did is you bent pin 1 on the LCD connector. Look at pin 1 on the LCD connector. I guarantee that it's bent up like this. Just bend it back down and it'll work again. That's what you did. Oh yeah, I still have that, Catherine, but I wound up doing something different. That render was good because it was inspiration to not give up, but it wasn't a practical layout. Have you tried a headhunter, technical recruiter placement agency? Oh, hell no. Headhunters often want like 20 or 30% of the first year's salary. Like this is a 2-day-a-week job. Like hell no. I'm not NVIDIA. If it's federal money, it's better to hire a third party. It's not federal money, but
USB-C chargers are different than the other forms of charging because this have multiple different voltages. So you just say something else. Okay, 3.41 volts press. So yeah, 40 volts. See, go to small amount flux. We're going to get started with a recall. Inflation is transit. I'm going to try 4. I don't like those because there's transient, bitch. Fuck your place. Yeah, so luckily the flux budget here is a roll. We're like Congress when it comes to flux. Spend, dude. Inflation is transient, bitch. Fuck your place. Inflation is transitory. Fuck your place. Something like that. Go with flux. Can I go over the one next to it, just for the hell of it? It's like shit. Yeah, as you can see, I took the soldering iron away from the board. So this means that the data line
Paul fucking Daniels is here.
and C3015 was not working at all.
Paul, I'm never going to get to see you now. Your country locked you inside.
Now, one of the pads on the right, that was one I actually thought was in better condition.
Oh,
You can see when I get rid of the flux,
I'm happy to break you out, though, Paul.
if you drop the machine in a manner that makes a competently soldered jumper come off, your machine is probably going to look like an accordion, so at that point it really doesn't matter anymore. That's not a thing.
Where's my food? Supposed to be here 1 minute ago.
They found out that 6 water replacements are not reliable. That's why they don't do them. If that's the case, I'm really curious why it is when
Your Taliban video had an error. The helicopters called Chinook were actually CH-46. One of them helped rescue the Saigon embassy staff and now the Kabul staff. I don't understand what you're talking about when you say it has an error, because I didn't say that they had CH-46, CH-45, GH-42, PP bus, whatever helicopter. What I said were that the U.S. was saying that these helicopters were not going to be fixable, and then the Taliban said, screw that, we're going to try to fix it anyway. And they have an attitude that our military is not allowed to have, because our military has to wait for the authorized person to come by to fix everything, whereas they don't care. But I don't understand what you mean by error, because I don't remember mentioning any sort of model of helicopter in that video. Like, it could have been a PP bus helicopter, or a PP3V42 helicopter, a PPVRTC helicopter, an 820-00840 helicopter. I have no fucking idea anything when it comes to helicopters. The point of that video, which a bunch of people in the comments missed for reasons that were usually ideologically aligned, is that it's sad that their military has a greater attitude when it comes to right to repair than the pencil pushers in ours. Because the actual technicians in our military, in our Air Force, in our Marine Corps, in our Navy, they want to fix things, but they're often not allowed to because of management. And that is a fucking shame. And I think that they should. I think that they should be able to fix things. But yeah, when it comes to helicopters, I don't remember in those videos saying the name. I don't remember saying, like, this is a CH whatever. Because I don't know anything about helicopter models. But yeah, PP bus helicopter.
When they replace work for customers, they give them refurbished ones that they refurbish themselves rather than new ones. So I definitely ignore all of your chat on that thing.
If someone's focusing on the model number of the helicopter in that video, then they skip the point entirely. It's not the same. They have no money, so they have to. It's a bit different. We don't have any money either. We spend more money each year than we take in tax revenue.
It's also going to be important to have an idea of what types of places exist in case my landlord wants to play hardball and say, no, sorry, full rent, going forward, full back rent. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. There's only one way to find out, right? One way to find out. Okay, I got my little jumper over here after I saw this just on. Alright, now we have to solder a jumper wire. So I have my little jumper wire over here.
Almost done with my edit.
You're right, in AXIO, they don't change components all the time. And so here's on your way to it. Right. And this is why I retired. Okay, straight. Fine. Okay. Make that top piece melt in again. Stir on bottom of that resistor in there. And people again, there's Belgium. Hey. And bottom. Thank you, Nomad. I appreciate it. Get a resistor from the donut. Okay. Get this in focus.
Yes, Paul Daniels. Sorry, I have to make time for that. And I failed and I didn't.
Okay.
I deserve to be put into an Australian gulag.
Get this in focus. And get a jumper wire.
Kind of afraid of being put in an Australian gulag.
But if it touches at a right angle, then it's making more contact with their... Close enough, like where they want to go, and it's making contact that it's at a right angle, so it's making contact. Okay. Joel. That was right. I am very proud of HAKKO. By the way, everybody, HAKKO is going to be graduating a teacher this Monday. Lame jokes from people that are not funny. Okay. Now we're going to get a CD3215 put over there. By the way, everybody, HAKKO is going to be graduating a teacher this Monday. Everybody, hi. Hey, we got a replacement CD3215 chip. We're going to put this chip on the board. Put a little bit of flux.
I think the TS80 is a fine soldering iron.
Now, when putting a VGA chip on the board, one thing you want to do is to make sure that you have it in the right place. Is you're going to tap in the center, then you're going to scratch it. And when you scratch it, once it's only moving the diameter of a pad in distance.
If you took the e-waste like keyboards and mice out of pre-built PCs, people would be up in arms just like they were when Apple quit shipping chargers with phones. It's not e-waste to have a charger, to have a mouse and a keyboard chipped with a PC.
But you have to wait until it's not moving more than the diameter of a pad. Then you're good. And now we're going to solder it on. So my higher is going to be further toward the box. Okay, try to blow away there. Yes. Yes. Now dance. Beautiful.
There is no board, Gustavo.
Woohoo! 20 volts. 100. One. Repair video with you all. See you in the next one. Bye now. Bye now.
Almost done with my edit.
Stay up until 4 a.m. every single call it. You let it. And the other port, you get 20 volts, 500 milliamps, it's turning on. That's what we do, baby. We make MacBooks work again. That's it for today. And as always, I hope that you learned something. So what was wrong with this board? This board had corrosion on the CD3215, particularly around two resistors that allow it to communicate with the USB-C and Thunderbolt controller at U2800. We replaced the resistor. 20 volts, 500 milliamps, it's turning on. That's what we do, baby. We make MacBooks work again. That's it for today, and as always...
Okay. Let's add these two to my list. To render, and then get the fuck out of here. All right. How about done? And my food is not here yet. You mother. Let's see, did he try to call me and I missed it? No. Yeah, that's lame. Okay, let's see who wins. Does my food get delivered first, or does my video finish rendering first? Lots of others on Twitch are also on YouTube with subs on both. Yeah, but Twitch gave me a bullshit offer. The offer that I got from Twitch like 5 years ago was that I couldn't stream on both at the same time. I could only stream on, and they didn't tell me how much money I would get if I did stream on Twitch, but I would have to sign the contract to figure out how much money I get on Twitch. And after I sign the contract, I can't multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So imagine you have a job. Thank you, Munskuma. What the fuck is your name? Whoa, that's hard to pronounce. But imagine I go over to your job and I say, you should quit your job. I'll hire you. Okay, cool. How much are you going to pay me? I'll let you know once you quit your job. I mean, that's just a shitty way of doing business. It's just like a really, like the way that, a lot of people complain about a lot regarding YouTube and their lack of transparency. And trust me, I understand where they're coming from. But the way that Twitch does business to me and that is just, it doesn't make any sense. Like, we're not going to tell you how much money we're going to give you until you sign a contract making us exclusive to you. Like, suck my dick. It really doesn't make any sense. Like, again, YouTube has a lot of problems. I'm not trying to say that YouTube doesn't have problems. But YouTube, it's sad, but they're not as bad as Twitch when it comes to stuff like that. Like, YouTube doesn't care who I stream to. You know, they don't say you have to choose between streaming to Twitch and YouTube. You can't multi-stream. Like, get out of here with that shit. You would get more than YouTube, but don't sell your soul. Like, would I? I don't know. Let's see. On YouTube, I have 170 live viewers, and I had 200 when I was fixing the board. So I had 200 when I was fixing the board. Holy shit. Okay, never mind. I take it back. Twitch has 142 viewers right now. So I only have 30 more viewers on YouTube than I do on Twitch. Okay. Okay. Wow. Maybe it's something I should look into. Because the thing is, my numbers used to be more on YouTube than Twitch. So here's the funny thing. 5 years ago, when I started doing live streaming on YouTube, I would get 400 to 600 live viewers a video. It has been, at this point, 5 years of gaining an audience, and I have less viewers now than I did when I started. But yeah, maybe it makes sense. Contact Spotify and tell them to pay you half of what they pay Joe Rogan to switch over at 100 million. Yeah, about that. I think you need to have an audience to do that. I think that would require an audience. When Jane went over to YouTube, he could not stream on both. He was an exclusive contract and was scared to even talk about the contract after. I don't know. Like, if Twitch came to me and said, to stream on Twitch, we'll give you $100K a year, like, okay, cool, we'll talk. Like, you know, I'm always open to a conversation. But this whole, we'll tell you what you're going to get after you sign the contract that makes you exclusive to us? Nah. These border pair videos are boring. Can you just shit on New York?
I don't know. Maybe. I do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. The thing about Twitch is that the format is interactive. You could capitalize on that. Huh. Maybe. More board repair. Let's see. Wherever you can get your message out there is important to me. I'm in England. You could anchor uploads into podcasts to Spotify as well. What's the point of Spotify? What's the point of being on millions of different platforms? When are you heading to Massachusetts? Once the print shop finishes making my signs, because not signs, I have papers that I want to try to get repair shops to give out to their best customers, and I have these little cards that I want to give them so that they know just what day to show up and they don't forget about it. That's a really old meme, Lala Diablo. I hope you don't think I'm a troll. I'm an aviation nut that likes accuracy when referencing helicopters and planes model. No, that's fine. I don't think you're a troll. But I don't remember mentioning the model number of any plane in that video. That's the curious part to me. I don't remember making a mention of a model number. I was mainly focusing on the point there, but I really don't. Did I say a model number of a plane? Maybe I did, but I don't remember doing it just because I don't know any. The only model number of any plane ever that I know is Cessna 402 and Boeing 737 because I really want to get a Cessna 402 and I want to make it electric. I want to make it electric and I want to fly and go vroom. I want to fly home with my electric Cessna 402. And I want to land it on the roof of my apartment. Spotify pays you per play. It's not intended for video. Yeah, I don't know about Spotify. I don't really have a... I don't know. I don't see myself as a content creator professionally. Eli strongly disagrees with me on this, but I don't know the benefit of being on a bunch of different platforms or any of that. The 402 is dual engine. I'm not sure. Do you even have your people? My people? What's a pipple? Also, speaking of, where's my fuck is my food? Where's my food? You didn't order from a closed restaurant, did you? They claimed Grubhub said it was open. Damn it. I've been betrayed.
Maybe you ordered food from a place using a MacBook to process orders and it just got water damage. Maybe. JP says, I bet I can get you donuts delivered. No donuts. Trying to eat better. How was dinner? What dinner? What dinner? There was dinner? Now you guys are just trolling. That's not very nice. We're 70% done with my second render. I bet both of these videos are going to be on YouTube and uploaded and available before I get my food. I'm getting salty. Get your private pilot's license and fly to the right to repair hearings. In an emergency, I guess you could eat the flux. It's actually quite tempting. Does New York have any barbecue to speak of? I'm a KC Kill Clinton? Native. And I haven't heard of a single noteworthy New York spot or style. I don't know. I don't know what qualifies as barbecue, and I don't eat much of what would be called barbecue. Oh, Kansas City. Huh. Are you doing a board repair? Half surprised. No, I'm waiting for my food, and then I'm going. I'm finished. I edited my 2 board repair videos. I am rendering them, and then I'm going to upload them. And sadly, my food will probably still not be here. Man, I'm being a customer. This place is 4 blocks away, man. Your order was placed at 10:10 p.m. Realize it sounded rude the way I put it. English isn't my best. I didn't mean it like that. No worries. No worries. Oh, the cry comments, you mean? Yeah, I didn't take it personally. I think I would have taken it personally if it wasn't for the fact that I was as hungry as I was right now. Food. Well, I'm being a grump because I want my food. If I send you shop a mechanical keyboard, would you quote me to solder it or only repairs? I don't work on mechanical keyboards. I'm excited. I bought a 130-year-old fixer-upper Victorian house for $14,000. That's cheap. Holy, where the hell did you buy a house for $14,000? Does it have a roof? Pre or post Ida? Okay, let's make a thumbnail for this. I wish they would just admit to me if they weren't going to bring me my food. Because if they were just polite enough to admit it to me, then I could move on with my life and order from somewhere else. But these evil
evil people are probably never going to make my food, and they're never going to tell me that they're not going to make me my food. Why would you do such a thing? That's so cruel. So cruel. So cruel. Oh! Food! Hello.
Yeah, the food is sure.
I'll be right there. Thank you so much. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's get some garlic, rice, lentils. Hello. Thank you. Have a good night, sir. Oh, boy. Excuse me. Have you ever considered taking investors? Taking investors what? You mean to open other stores? I don't think any investor is going to want to invest in this shit. Like, there's probably money to be made if you invest in iFix or any of these stores where they have a bunch of locations of where you have lower skilled technicians and you pay them shit wages. This is not investable. What I have here is not investable. I want to actually find people who are really, really competent. I want to be the place that the iFix outsources shit to. I don't want to be the iFix. Does that make sense? This is uninvestable. Because A, I want to hire people that know what the fuck they're doing, and B, I want to pay them what they're worth so that they stay here. Nobody is going to want to invest in this shit. Truly. Like, I don't get phone calls on the regular from people saying, we'd love to buy your business. And there's a reason for that. This is just, it's just not investable. Garlic sauce. To be investable, I'd probably need to pay people a lot less. I need to have a service that's very cookie cutter so that you could open these businesses. You could open like 30 of these across the country. But as it is, this ain't investable. Nobody's banging down my door to get a piece of Ross and Repair Group. Not down with this angle. No, watch something else. You're saying you wouldn't accept a deal for a franchise using your name? I mean, nobody's offered, so it's not even something for me to think about because it's not like something. Nobody's come to me and said, Lewis, I want to be a Ross and Repair. What do I need to do for that? So it's just not something that I even have to think about. But if they did, I'd have to make a list of rules and procedures and all this other stuff and training and. But I'm not interested in doing I'm not interested in making iFix or a CPR model. I can tell you that right now. I've had those companies outsource trackpad replacements to me before. Oh. We ain't doing that. Like, I don't want someone that doesn't know shit about electronics repair thinking this is a way to get rich or
a new career to immediately just jump into with no experience and start using my name to fix people's stuff. But mainly nobody's asked, so it isn't really a thing that I've had to think about. If I had people banging down my door saying, I want to put your name on my repair shop, I'll give you $200,000 to do that, plus, you know, 3% or 5% of my net profit a year, then I'd have to say, okay, you know what, it's worth my time to do that. But I've had like 2 or 3 people ask about buying my business. This is back in 2016, right around the time that all the shit was going down with Apple asking me to take my videos down. And one of the precursors to the agreement was that I stop posting videos to YouTube and I give them ownership of my YouTube channel. So I think that that was actually a troll. So I don't even know if I should count that one. I was looking at a U-Break I Fix job ad the other day. This was in New York, too. This wasn't even somewhere else. It was something like $17 an hour to be a manager. To be a manager. A manager. Amazing. I forget if it was CPR or U-Break I Fix. It was one of the above. I remember seeing the job was like $30,000 a year or something like that. In the 30s, it's like, bro, like fucking Kevin gets more than that. No wonder it's profitable to set those plays. The thing I don't get is, how do you not have 1-star reviews all day long if you're paying people that as a manager? Not even as an employee. Like, it's one thing if you're an absolute entry-level employee and you don't really know how to do much and you can't really fix much and you're part-time, but a fucking manager. The person that's supposed to care about your business. The person that's supposed to be the one that's setting the tone for how everything works. I don't get how that works. What's stopping anyone from making replacement components? Like a similar hard-to-get chip for a MacBook. I only met one company ever that had interest in doing that, and the moment I told them what it went into, they ran away immediately. I think fear. Fear of the wrath of Apple. Yeah. But intellectual property only counts if it's the same model or way of being made. No, intellectual property matters as long as you have less money to spend in court than the other party. When defending yourself against an accusation costs $1,200 an hour and can be drawn out for years, When are you going to make an OnlyFans? Kitty Stray from the Discord sent me a picture today of a person touching a soldering iron to their dick. That was painful. I don't know, maybe I'll make an OnlyFans and I'll do videos and upload them like that. That hurt. CJ, that's very possible. That's one possibility. It still freaks me out to think about it. Can I get a hell yeah in the chat if you think Lewis is tech guru? What is tech guru? Okay, time to get out of here. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming by.